can't hear. I don't know if we are live. Are we? I don't know whether to play. No, it didn't play. I see. Okay. You're you hit that, the music stops. I take up the whole screen because Michael Anthony is on his phone tonight, and that's okay. You'll hear him talking. We're just going to talk about whatever hits our mind, and wherever we go. We're live on on my Facebook profile, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and we will be podcasted later tonight. Michael, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it. Okay. I hope everybody's actually having a good day and their mind's coming to calm and peace with everything that we're looking at and this very weird scenario midway through 2025. It's not been great. It's not been good. It hasn't even started to get there yet. And we're having all these difficulties and emotions and stuff that are conflicting our lives and so forth. But I'm glad to be here tonight. Maybe we can just talk like two gentlemen, unless you have anybody else going to try to join or try.
No, I told everyone that I had a special situation that came up for 8:00 tonight. So it's just you and me, unless other people communicate that they want to join, but I figured it would just be you and me and Sherman and Peabody, or whatever we used to call it, and we'll go.
Yeah, I never used that terminology.
We'll go everywhere and then some.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start by doing that. I mean, I woke up on 9/10 and I said to myself, I got to do something different here. I got to make people remember 9/11. And I tried, even on 9/9, I was already trying to rebrand the date that we needed to remember from 9/11, 2001. What is it, 24 years? And surprisingly enough, a curveball occurred. One of the hugest ones you could ever imagine. But there was this major curveball. And we have this, what I call a political assassination that happens. But whoa, let me put on the brake right there.
Okay.
Let's back up to 9/11.
Yep.
When you look at the scenario, Dave, just think about this, okay? The scenario. Charlie Kirk, God bless him. Great fella, brilliant mind. One of a kind guy. Got to give him all that love and stress those points. But they pulled the wool over America's eyes. They made America shut up about 9/11 this year. If you think about it, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
They took the fabric of 9/11 away from the American people and put the focus of a different subject matter, however the universe works like this, or who in the universe works like this, and how it comes out. Isn't that mind-blowing when you think about it? So in preparations, I'm going through all my information from shows that I did. I found out they pulled I didn't even know it. They had removed every show of content that I ever did, not just about 9/11.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about with Bigfoot, ufology. I'm talking about the strange, the mysterious, the lost. That where I started with one view, went to 1,000 views,
hold on a
10,000 views, got 100,000 views, and they started removing that. The same as they did with the Donald J. Trump News Team Network show that I used to do with several people and Randy and like that. But okay, it's like, I think we got to put the brakes on here. And they're making this young man, and not to say he doesn't deserve, as he died for, what he believed in, as a martyr, as a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X or a JFK or JFK's brother. People forget they were both shot, not just one. Reagan was shot. It was an attempted. Trump was. Was Trump really? I don't know. But, it seems to be a suspicious scenario. Maybe it was, who knows? We can't actually say.
With Trump.
Go ahead. It seems like you're agitated. Go ahead.
With Trump, I want to think it wasn't an assassination attempt to kill him. I don't think they wanted to do that. I think they wanted to damage his ear, graze his ear, do something just to make him think it was better off to go away.
Well, it didn't strengthen him. The same thing that we're seeing right now with Charlie Kirk. There are things here that blend, that co-sync, that are alike. But in this case with Charlie, this was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Why was he sacrificed like this? What did he say that was so wrong? Is it because he brought up Epstein? Is it because he talked about Israel and the fact that Israel is doing this and doing that? And who he knows is related to who, where many people don't even understand who is related to who.
I think he was able to bring the youth and make them Republicans and make them understand some good things. Supposedly after he, I think it was 3 days after he passed away, we moved 2 million young people from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party. We have 32,000 new chapters of Turning Point USA, which are ready to go. His wife is going to be very busy. I hope, Erica says she's going to keep it going, but she's going to be real busy.
Right. And, prayers to her and everything that she's going through. And I want to wish her nothing but the best of luck in her endeavors and this new modernization of where and how one's wife takes over for the husband when he's no longer able to speak. But look, the demographic of them saying, I don't agree with. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I don't agree with it.
Okay.
And I'm saying it from a different viewpoint of my perspective. He just didn't call him by going to colleges, youth of America. I mean, youth was going home and starting to have discussions with their parents. He brought in all demographic of age. He brought me in. Brought me in. I'm past my mid-60s. He brought me in. I mean, I listened to this young man. I loved his voice. I loved his strength. I loved how he loved to have controversial conversations with people, debates. Debates are wonderful. It's long as everybody has an equal participation.
Right.
And that's what he strived for. He strived for that. He didn't try to give it one side, even though he had a one-side religious belief. And there's nothing wrong with having that.
Yep. I think you're 100% spot on.
Yeah, it's much bigger than just the youth.
It's
they're
a
lost.
lot.
When they say that, they're lost.
It's a lot bigger, but it's so big that I really hate to say it's so big that I can't chew it up and understand it all. Because it plays on what you said before, stuff they were doing 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago that we didn't know about. But you look at things today and it's clearly evident that they're doing it. I say to people all the time that I don't understand why Florida has so many cell towers. I mean, literally across the street from each other, next door to each other. They all can't be cell towers in the typical sense of a cell phone tower. There's got to be something going on. Are they Are they watching us through our phones with whatever they do? Are they watching us through all of our devices? You know, when I go to sleep each night, does my laptop talk to Dom's laptop, and they're watching those? They're watching our phones. They're watching everything on my desk that we're not using. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you want to wrap your phone in tinfoil before you go to sleep. You put a tinfoil hat on.
It's scary only because I say, what are they listening to? I mean, are they listening to a 63-year-old man snore? Is that what they want? But I mean,
well, yes, and that's part of how the system works. And if you think it doesn't work, start thinking again, because they know everything that happened there about Charlie and don't need people to investigate it.
Yep.
That's how technology really is, but they're not going to tell you that. They had all the answers to everything before they needed man to give them any kind of influential answers to anything that they were investigating, even in that mishap.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was just the other day, it was my son's birthday, and we're all at this mountain resort. I went up and I surprised them. I knew they were going to have brunch, and I thought, well, I'm going to walk in, chuck the shit out of them. And I did. He looks at his wife like, did you know they were coming? Not that he was upset about it.
Yeah.
He was very surprised.
No,
but when we went outside to hang out and have some conversation, at the top of the lodge tower, at the lodge roof, there were nothing but these frequency towers everywhere mounted.
Yeah.
And you can't help not to notice them because they were there even. And we do have that technology. You know, we had shows on TV 20 years ago where they would release somebody. They had 24 hours. In 24 hours, if the FBI could not detain them and arrest them in this show process, they would get like $100,000. And only several people were able to just barely, by the skin of their teeth, go over the 24-hour period to win.
And I'm surprised.
Have cameras. They've had this stuff on the roadways, taking pictures of every car. And this is why they put that sophistication on the turnpike. If you don't have easy pass to drive through any turnpike in the United States, it'll merely just take a picture as you go 15 miles an hour through it with nobody there.
Yeah.
And it would send you a bill. So this is tracking. This is track and trace. This is how the system works. It's always how it worked. But even the turnpike picked it up and found it to be beneficial and fired everybody and eliminated the job.
Are we that stupid, or did we just understand that there was a reason to track us? I mean, I know that there's bad stuff they did. I know there's probably some good stuff that they do. But I mean, did we just accept that was the way life was supposed to be? Or I mean, did people react to it? I mean, I'm throwing my hands up in the air going, you know, like I just said, you know, they hear a 63-year-old man snoring, you know, they must get something out of my snores, or they must be able to put something in my head, because sometimes my dreams are crazy. But, you know.
Well, yeah, we all have some crazy dreams, and we don't know what influences it. They tell us can have ill effect on bees, and they don't come out of the hives. They don't pollinate the flowers, and we lose our fruits and vegetables because of it. And it seems to have a lot of sense depending upon where you're at and how much spraying is done and how much frequencies are being placed down. We know a lot of these things are true, and it all ties together. But why? The big question is why are they doing it all? What do they know?
So that
what are they preparing for?
So that Bill Gates can make $1 trillion a year. Because I honestly don't know. Why. I mean, if you and you cook, so you can understand this. If you put a real good steak, the best one you can think of, next to something that comes out of his lab, and you hand them both to someone, they can't tell you which one is the real one. You know, but, you know, I used to stump customers all the time with the limo business. If it was a 2 or 3 car run, it was my 2000, my 1999 or 2000 town car and 2 new ones from somebody else, and I'd park them all together and say, "Which one do you think is the one that's brand new?" And don't just say it because you're talking to me and I'm asking you. They go, "Yeah, the one in the middle, that's brand new." Well, the one in the middle was always the oldest. So, you know. But I mean, realistically, you know, uh, are they controlling us through our food?
Through everything.
You know, I mean, I'm drinking iced tea tonight because 2 days ago I decided I wanted brisk iced tea. I haven't had brisk in years, but something said buy a bottle of brisk. So they were probably controlling. They were probably controlling that. Plus, it was on sale, so I'm sure they were saying, you know, buy that, buy this, buy that. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you look at everything and you consider everything, there's more to the picture.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it's about. It could be the Epstein files. It could be, what happened at Mar-a-Lago,
Yeah.
where, even Epstein pled the fifth and the sixth when he was asked, did Donald Trump and yourself engage in any type of conversations or activities with minors? He answered every question except that one and pled the fifth and sixth.
Is he still with us? I mean, let's kind of equate it to Pablo Escobar. Supposedly is living in a prison here somewhere for the rest of his life. I think our government went into that business and they kept him around because he knows everything. Same thing. Is Epstein still doing what he's doing from some hidden room at Gitmo or old abandoned missile silo that was converted to a jail? His brother says he was rolled out. His brother says that it didn't look like him, I think.
To get the true answer, the people,
okay,
to go to the court, to have the body exhumed, and to get a proper identification. That is the truest way to go about it, and the people can demand that in a court. Not because they're not family and all that stuff that everybody thinks. You don't have to be anybody in relationship to somebody to get this, okay? You just don't have to. But when I look at the evidence upon what we know, the Mossad, the people working, one of the things that Charlie Kirk brought up that he's no longer here about, we're probably mentioning it, because I think he did fear for things. I truly believe he was fearing certain things because he was being offered absorbent amounts of money, but declining the monies.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the fact, exhume the body. Let's have a look firsthand. And I wouldn't mind, and I don't say this with any disrespect, I wouldn't mind looking at Charlie either, because I think the point is now we have no trust for anything. As long as you have government, you have war. As long as you have government, it is never going to change. We are the people that can change it, but we need to abolish and eliminate a lot of the things that are going on.
Yeah.
When you look at the things that were promised that day, and when Donald J. Trump swore an oath and allegiance to the American people, I'm not saying he's not doing it, but there's a priority of something else going on right now, and it's not reflecting to helping the people of in this piss poor economy that we have. And even when he says 25 to 30% in the positive against the negative that he came in on, that is a blatant freaking lie. And I'll tell you, even today, because me and my wife monitor everything we shop for, even today, the prices increased across the board on everything. So don't tell me that you did something good for us and there's nothing good there for us. But again, exhume the body. Get the right people to fill out the paperwork. let's pull this because isn't the public tired of being lied about? Why 9/11 did the black boxes never get released, looked at, or any of the information from them be provided to the American people? Remember, Davis, we were taught, even by our own government, we work for you, meaning they work for us. Do they? No, they really don't. There's a struggle. There's a bloodline. It's there. There's relationships. And when you look at the overall picture, when Trump went belly up a couple times, who gave him all the money to build it back better again? And if we're going to talk about make America great again, what president really had that first in their presidential campaign? The Clinton Foundation. There are connections here. They play the game. They say raw and raunchy things about each other. On the backside, there's somebody else talking for them to each other.
I'm getting someone is in the green room, but I didn't.
It's probably Randy.
It is Randy, but I didn't send Randy a link.
I did. I didn't know if we were going to have a problem.
Oh, no. It's fine with me. I didn't know if you wanted it to be us or
it is us.
Are you open to anyone who joined?
It is us. If he's there, let him in.
Okay. All right. I will let him in. Okay. Are you here, Randy?
I am.
Okay. All right. So you see,
everybody.
So you see Randy in his black box. Michael is in my phone, and I'm sitting behind my desk, and we're live on the Dave Globin profile on Facebook, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, and we will be podcasted tonight everywhere. That's just going to be the easier thing than me trying to grab links and put it everywhere. That's our next move. So we're talking about everything and everything. Like I said, the question that I want to ask you, Michael, is Trump one of them working for us, or is he just one of them? Or I don't know how I want to put it, because for so long I have wanted to meet the man. And if the man ever watched this and heard me say, is he one of them, I would probably have no chance of ever meeting him. So, where are we on that?
Well, he admittedly said that he was once upon a time one of them. I don't think you ever lose all friendship when it comes to you just changing a party in government to a different party in government, but you're gonna keep friends, and you're gonna keep the constituents or the ones closest to you that give you friendship back. So I think there is a two-party format really working here in that perspective. When it comes to the fact of the subject matter at the inauguration, that he shouted out to the American people that he would repair, fix, and help resolve the scenarios of America, we have not seen any of that direction yet to happen. Very little has yet to happen. And a lot of people are suffering, and he knows that they are. And again, then it goes into the new currencies and things, and all these coincidences that are being talked about, that possibly a lot of people are going to run into a lot of money. I don't believe that if you want a healthy, economy. A healthy economy is going to be by with a purposeful economy. We're keeping people at work, not with the riches. If you keep them in riches, they'll forget the work. They'll lose the ethic of it. And we're going into something also that's radically different than he has ever laid out before, even in his first term as president and when he was 45. Yep. He never mentioned really much about technologies, but now he's a technology guru, and it has to go that way, where billions are going to go to Pennsylvania, billions are going to go to Texas, and we're going to build this, and we're going to build that. And I will say this, in conversations that I had with somebody who's close to Elon Musk, not me, them, yep. He said, what Elon said was, when you have government versus government, You have no way to defeat a government because it's just never going to happen. And that's why he walked from it.
Yep.
All the good he did for waste, fraud, and abuse, it was an exposure for him. They wanted to expose things, but what's happening behind the scenes for them? Not as much as many would think, because it sounded a lot bigger. Anytime something big happened, and you can martyrize it, meaning make it look bigger, okay? People go in a different focus, forget what they were thinking about, and then concentrate to the new subject matter. I think that's what happened with Charlie as well. They wanted us to shut our mouths about 9/11, all the missing billions that were stolen, all the buildings falling down. They were just not about a plane, that they were painted in thermite that burned up to 2,500 degrees. And painters wouldn't even know they were applying it because it's safe to apply, just like a paint product.
Yeah.
You can put it on with a roller, you can cut it in with a brush, you can paint it with a brush, and you will never know. But under the right circumstances, once it ignites, it accelerates, it burns like you would never believe. Something made these buildings all fall the way they did. Something did.
Yep.
And the plane in Pennsylvania, it was disintegrated by a missile in the sky. And as a Pentagon, there were people there on the ground, 30 seconds away from the ground, that only had to turn around with their cameras, look at it, and never saw not one piece of an airplane. So again, here we come up on this date. Is it really a coincidence? I mean, when you think about it, they changed the whole narrative of 9/11 to Charlie Kirk. I'm not saying that these things are personally, in my view, something smells here. But I'm not saying that I have positive proof that this was all a ploy to get us not to focus, because we were so close to the 9/11 answers and everything that happened, and Dick Cheney being the kingpin to it all.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn.
Randy say hello.
That's what I said. I'm going to turn it to Randy and let Randy and you go for a bit. Maybe I will get it posted live, or I need to get it posted live. I don't know. We'll wait and see. It doesn't look like technology is working the way it's supposed to tonight, but
do it after. It doesn't matter. You know, this is about guys getting together,
it is
having a drink and a cigar, and just bullshitting.
Well, it is. Plus, you see at the beginning, you see me get up and go to the door because someone in the house had a quick question. One of the dogs wanted to come and visit, and I kind of said it wasn't a good time to.
So, you know, I'm hearing some of the conversation. So I agree, too, that 9/11 was our government's way of getting into the war. I agree, too, that there's just too much information coming out, and it has been coming out about, like you're saying, the paint, which is extremely flammable, being used. There was storage of something in the basement that was explosive, and the way that the various floors exploded. You can see the explosion like a flash, like in a demolition of a building. You'll see how the various floors are exploding, so they get caved in on top of each other, and just the way that the building came straight down on itself, as well as the fact that after the fact, hey, Robin Brunson, thank you for following me. The fact that there was no plane wreckage left for any of the locations. I'm sorry, if our government is that damn crooked that they felt it was worth thousands upon thousands of lives lost just to get us into a war, and we didn't come out with anything. We didn't come out with the oil. We didn't come out with possession of land. We came out with an ass kicking of the Arabs, and some good training for our soldiers, for combat training. But other than that, we walked away with zilch for the loss of our own civilians, and I think that's wrong. And And I hate to say it, no one's gone to prison yet. I don't think anybody ever will. I keep watching these congressional hearings, and poor Patel and Bondi getting racked across the rails with by the Democrats about their support for Trump and the accusations of doing wrongdoings for him, and their science. And you hear, I was watching Patel, and he was coming back with about as good as he was getting, but he really didn't answer the question as to, like for example, the Epstein list. Okay, uh, I have a book now that the author uh, uh, did a chapter or two on the Epstein list, and he listed all the names of the people who went to the island. Okay, why aren't they in prison? Why aren't they in front of Congress answering questions? Uh, we just had, some of the women survivors met with the congressional people to tell their sad story. Nothing's come of it yet. Why?
That'll fall under civil matter.
Yeah.
That'll fall under civil matter, and then the government can pick it up. But that will take another 25 years, Randy.
Well,
that's how the system's set up.
Wasn't that part of, I guess, Adam Schiff's few minutes of Senate time today, where he tried to tear into Kash Patel, and then Kash looked at him and said that you're really mad at people in the in the Obama administration and his DOJ that became the Biden DOJ, that neither one of them did anything on this stuff. And then it came to Trump and the guy for some other things, but they nailed him. And then he went off on Adam, but I personally think Adam is guilty of sin anyway. And I think that Adam...
And he's still in office.
I think that Adam is the only one that Adam is protecting.
Yeah, no, they're protecting more. Okay, here's where we got to put on the brakes. And neither of you were wrong. The footsteps here that you both have taken are correct. All right? But that's not the story. That's not where it ends. Okay? These women were humiliated, trafficked, and used. Yes. Wrong. Absolutely. But it goes beyond that. Okay? What they're truly hiding in the cover-up is the history of the Babylonian and the culture of the world and how it was. And it was about the sacrifice, the blood sacrifice, the adrenochrome. See, this is why they really don't want it out there. They don't want anybody to find any connections of the next step of darkness that's really there. They're making you forget about that part of the children, the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of children, because this is how once cultures lived. They kept bringing it forth that way. For them to have many wives or many whores was just more, it was so acceptable. It was like second nature in life. You could have a wife and you could have a whore. It was fine. Okay. And they still lived that way. Don't tie yourself into that narrative of how they were being used, because most of those women knew the money, knew the drugs, and knew the lifestyle they were walking into. Okay. Many of them became movie stars. They are all related to people. I mean, Brad Pitt's related to Obama. If you go through Ancestry, you're a person who does Ancestry, go into it, deep dive it like I have, Randy. See how all these people, Tom Hanks, everybody, how they are related. George Clooney and his mother, okay? Mom first, him second, okay? Look at the ties of who's related to who and how it works. But again, Epstein, the island, wrongdoings, most definitely, okay? But where do you got to understand, it wasn't just that. It was many other things that were being even promoted on television at night, where I can't remember the name of the show, where they had these young girls showing their boobs and taking pictures and bringing them to an island. Do you remember that? I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but that was part of an Epstein nephew. All right. Now, you have other names involved here. You have secondaries, but Heidi Fleiss was the first named person that had the Black Book. Heidi Fleiss was the girl that had it, that fell into the hands, that went into Weinstein, that went into the black guru woman billionaire who tries to buy up everything in Hawaii now. You know who I'm talking about. I just can't think of her name, but I can see the ugliness of her face in my mind.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, can you share my one screen to answer Michael's question? Michael asked a question about the people that Tom Hanks is related to.
Yep.
I just did a really quick dive, like Michael asked me to. I want to show you who he's related to.
Okay, hold on. There we go.
So anyone can look this up. It's a free service called Famous Kin of. Then you type in a person's name. So Tom Hanks is either closely or distantly related to all these people I'm going to show you on the screen. Alfred the Great, Charlemagne, Abraham Lincoln, Fred
Abraham Lincoln's one. Not Trump. Not Trump. Everybody said it was Trump. That's not true. Or George Patton.
Fred Rogers.
Fred Rogers.
I'm looking at the screen and I'm going,
yeah.
God, that must be.
So you see here it says that he is where's Fred Rogers? He is the sixth cousin of Tom Hanks. Anne Boleyn, a lot of old English ones. Steve McQueen, Judy Garland, Liza Minnelli. So there's like 200 names here of famous people, past and present, that Tom Hanks is related to. Even some Confederates here, King Charles, General Robert E. Lee. So all these people, Tom Hanks related to. And just like I said, this service is free. Just type in a name and you will see who it's related to who.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do here is make a point and try to help you guide you guys to the satanic worship that is involved here and how they look at things, but they have a different format of information of books also. We have one that explains religion a certain way. They have one that was the foundation of who the people were that started the religion that explains it a different way. That's why they don't believe in our God. They don't believe in our Jesus. They believe in the first book. The first books are different from the books that you have, or King David and all these other people that were writing. And they were demonologist writers before they were ever religious Christian book writers. Okay? Why? Because they knew they could control the narrative from it. Makes you wonder, makes you think. It's sad because if they would manipulate you to the point that Jesus is a fraud or anything like that would be partially true. I mean, that the format of how these people think is that you couldn't do anything worse to people. You could not do anything possibly worse to people, but they did. They did. And they set a lot of this up in place. And it was back in 1100, with the Templars and all that. So it goes into the Rosicrucians. It goes into the Templars, Knights of Malta, all these different things. They knew the truth of the answers because they were collecting the artifacts from it. And one of the key things that you said, we lost our ass by going there, Randy, we did not. They got what they wanted and what they went for. Do you know for 2,000 years, the land of Israel was vacant? It was nothing. It didn't even have a name. The Rothschilds gave it the name. Israel came to light after World War II. And the popularity began because the bloodline was there. The Zionists were there, which are now helping lead America through tariffs and gold cards and telling them, because these guys are brilliant. They are brilliant. We're not brilliant. They're freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
So what do we...
disrespect to either you or your thoughts, but I'm just hoping, as I always have, try to open a mind to the other sources of information.
So what do we get taken away from the Iraq War? Because I don't think we got any oil from there.
Simple minds and information.
Well, I probably got information, yeah. Okay. But let me ask you this, Michael. They keep saying how it's so unusual for the for the President of the United States to be invited twice to see the King or Queen of England. So why is he being invited back for a second visit, which is supposedly something totally unusual?
Well, you know what? I haven't really focused on what could possibly be going in that direction as to why. I can look into it and try to, theorize on it and give you an answer, but it doesn't mean, even if I did that in the next week, it doesn't mean what I could say would have any factual background to it, in a good way. It sometimes takes a little bit of time for the soup in the kettle to simmer and get its flavor. You don't always get the answer because you think you find it the next day. I never try to accept something that way. And that's why I am not accepting anything yet on Charlie, even in that mannerism. I'm just not going to, because if we have a government that will kill 2,977 people plus wars and adverse effects from the devastation of that day, what would they not do to a human being if he was talking about something they didn't want him to talk about, or they fear him in the future?
True.
So everybody is related to everybody, at least on the elite level. But so is Obama related to the Bushes, or is he just someone that was his family, their slaves, and they took him under their wing? And where are we?
His mother had sex with a black man, and he didn't really want much to do with her. And then she married into somebody through her father, and that there then introduced him and her to a different type of thing. But they had places and jobs that were already appointed to them to have. The same as how the government works now, and how we had Trudeau, and how we have with Zelensky in Ukraine. These are all somehow, some way, someone of a bloodline. And most of what you do see is just a bullshit shit show. And that's why even Russia and it calls them out now, even Trump. He's calling even Trump out, who we thought were the best friends that, I can handle this in 24 hours, it would all go away. Well, I do understand, and I even said this, that, times can change. It doesn't mean you can rectify something, 6 months later, the same way you could have 6 months previous to that time. There could have been a time where it was absolutely right. But nothing's really changing. As a matter of fact, we even went and bombed the country. Something that Trump said he would never do, but he did do. We have a lot of different things. You got Nahu and all these different people, and they are. And remember one thing: Trump has always paid homage to Israel. Israel is part of the Rothschild. It's part of one of the first museums actually to even exist in Israel was because of the Rothschild family. Why did they own a museum there? Well, it was all about collecting the artifacts and using our military to go in and take from other museums, and not only that, go into places that they know were found underground, Gilgamesh and things like that were found, and they knew that there were ancient technologies in them. That gets into a different perspective of the possibilities of manned flight travel in the earliest of times. But we also got to look back, on everything that we were taught to be a lie. And it's factually true when you look at some of the findings we have now and some of the testings that we do. Size of mountains carved that are 250,000 years old. But yet we were taught to believe that we were cavemen, only, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, whatever the big lie was. But not true. Man's been walking on this planet and living and flourishing with life in different ways. And there were other technologies that were here that were, created that they figured out before us. Now, did these people come from somewhere else? We'll really, really never know that answer. But there are some people that claim they have it. And they're the ones that claim to be the experts that you can go out and see that I pretty much disowned at some of these conferences. Because all they're doing is copycatting the information. They're not really an expert. They're just adding and critiquing it a little bit to try to make it their own, as if they are the whistleblower for it. They're nobodies. They truly are. There are nobodies. They're an embarrassment. And you see a lot of these people. They sit there with their eyes shut, and they go into these consciousness changes, and then the voice comes from their mouth. And I mean, truthfully, they look like a bunch of retards and idiots. And they're selling to the millions of people for millions of dollars on who they are. And I got to tell you, most of it's a bullshit lie. If 10% of anything is real, that's the factual truth of what the truth is. 10% of it. The rest is all bogus. You know, people just trying to copycat and trying to become something and take credit for something that somebody already did 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 70 years ago, 80 years ago. The William Cooper, the Jordan Maxwell, you know, all these other famous people that actually worked within the foundations that had the reality of the real information, the things. But you've got things that are going on, like the Smithsonian. It's not really the Smithsonian, it's the Smithsons. The Smithsons are the family that were put in charge to guard some of these precious secrets. But there's something that's even different. They're called the governmental librarians. The governmental librarians hold on to the national treasures of what we are never to see. And there are things that are out there that we will never, ever know about, and they will never share with us. But certain people, presidents, etc., can visit into some of these places. There are underground military bases and installations. There's Secret Mountain. There's Groom Lake. There's all these places. But you know what? It still comes down to the point of how we are guided, how everything is the big lie. And now you have people just jumping in head first to be a part of this inner circle of bullshit. But there is a reality to it. But 90% of them shouldn't even be on the platform. They should be removed from it. But no, because they can make money, or they got a pretty face, or they show themselves off in a different way in a bathing suit, has nothing to do with what they speak about. But if I look gorgeous, you'll watch me. You know, that kind of perspective. That's where we're at right now. Society is freaking lost.
I wish I knew that, because I don't look gorgeous and I'm not rich. And I'm still here doing this. Go ahead, Michael.
I'm teasing you, but we're not talking about you. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
No, I was a thought. I shared something with my wife earlier about Charlie Kirk's death, and this guy is coming out of retirement, and the guy had like a Greek last name. He's gay, conservative, but he did something similar to what Charlie Kirk did by going out and talking to people about conservative viewpoints and so forth. And if I can find his name here, I'll share with you. But here he is, Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo Yiannopoulos. What? So he's an English citizen, but he's here in the United States. He did the same thing that Charlie Kirk did. Went into self-retirement. Actually, he made some comments about, even though he himself was gay, he made some comments which got a bunch of backlash, and so he went into self-retirement. But he's talking about coming back out now and picking up where Charlie Kirk's legacy dropped off. Is it possible for a gay conservative to do something similar to what Charlie did and receive a similar response from the people?
Yeah, well, Candace Owens wants to do the same thing. And I wish them all luck, because you know what? They're just catching up to what I did 5 years ago.
But
I talked about all this subject matter 5 years ago.
right.
And if you were too blind to see the transgender army coming at you on TV 20 years ago, like in MASH and all these other places, and it was everywhere, every show, I feel bad for you, because I was doing it. These were people in diapers when I did it. I don't care that they took me off. I don't care that they removed all the shows now. I made peace with it. It was probably a blessing.
Yeah. I figured there was more to Facebook deciding that they were going to take down a show every 30 days. I never believed.
I don't have any.
Right. But I never believed that it was they needed the space that bad that they were going to take down a show every 30 days of yours because, like you said, they took down everything of yours. It's gone. Where is it supposed to be? Mark Zuckerberg's a piece of work anyway, so I don't really want to start on him because the man who perfected fact checking on everyone sat next to Trump at that dinner and said, "I'm spending $600 billion this year." And Trump, I think all that happened was President Trump heard $600 billion and said, "Oh, okay.
I could use this in my resume."
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody's got to be blowing some money into. He's blowing money. Other people blow money into Truth Social. But I mean, is it all a game? They're all just playing this game against each other.
Well, you know what? It's not a game to you, me, or Randy, or most of the American people. I mean, especially when you look at Gates and Gates bugs and homemade meats and all these other things, and
it's not a joke.
And buying up the water, supplies now, and all these things. No, this is about an attack on people, and you have them in our White House, who you only get a seat from because we told you could have that seat. I mean, I'm embarrassed that he did that. I'm embarrassed that he did that to all the voters that I asked to vote for him.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, if he would sit with me, he'd have some explaining to do, Lucy. I'm not joking. I would not be easy on him. And I don't know if he would be able to tolerate me on a good day. If I was having a really good, strong day, the questions that I would ask would be mostly probably inappropriate to a president, but needs to be answered by the president because we're not seeing any of the activities that he claimed we would see. The only thing we see is executive order, executive order, executive order. I did more in my term, and they glorify him before everyone signed. I want to thank you, Mr. President, for your intelligence and your courage. And meanwhile, he claims he puts it all in their hands to do. So who's really doing it? Who's really there calling the shots on how these orders are written up and what they are going to represent and what subject matter? Yep. And again, it's not that I dislike Trump. That's not it. It's just like, what the freak, brother? What's going on? I'm going to talk to you like a real human being. And that's how I would talk to him. But I would have some really hard to answer questions. And he probably would not like to get up from the conversation with me, or would probably want to walk away from the conversation from me.
There's other people too. I'd like to see you have a one-on-one with the Deputy Director of the FBI and world-class podcaster, Dan Bongino, because I think the two of you might actually get stuff out that needs to get to people. It won't be much, because I get the impression that as much as he was the right person to be deputy director, if not director, his hands are tied. And I watched him with Megyn Kelly today, and there was, he looked down at the tabletop as he was speaking and made it look like, he just couldn't tell you what he really wanted to open his mouth and tell us. It's really sad.
It is sad. It is. I agree.
He's a brilliant mind in this field, and he's used a bunch of people that have no idea what law is. And
well, you know what? He was even late to the game. If it was me and I was approached, I would have refused the game, because once you sign into the game, they do truly own you. No matter how much power or money you have, you become one of them, and you can never leave that group. That's how the occults work.
Money, but then again, you look, money wasn't important to him because he had all the money. He made all the money.
I get it. He went there for the reasons for the purpose of humanity.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, I totally get why he did it. I just think he's very disappointed with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very disappointed with where he's at within it.
I think what happens, and I think Trump went to into politics thinking that he would be different, that he would be able to be the one that makes the change. And once you get into the politics and get mixed into all that garbage, you become part of it. And you realize and see just how filthy everything is. And uh, you can't change it because you become part of the system. It's like Dan Bongino, and so forth, and Bondi and Patel. They all took the positions to help out Trump, but they can't do anything. Their hands are tied. And I feel bad for them because they're being totally torn apart by the Democrats. And for some reason, they can't fight back to defend themselves. And they sit there for, I don't know how many people are lined up to talk to these guys, but all get their 5 minutes of flesh. And when they try to speak back, they get talked over. Um, it's a shame.
Yep. His I keep coming back to Cash Patel and his couple of minutes with Adam Schiff this morning. Is he going to deliver Adam Schiff to us like we hope, or is it just a game? The two of them rip each other apart during Adam Schiff's turn at asking questions, and then go have a beer together.
Okay, the way I look at it, it's like everything else you've ever seen work. Most things don't. Remember when it was important who he worked for.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'll ever see this man serve any time for anything that he did that was wrong. They may do a castaway, just like they do a sacrifice, like in Charlie's case.
Okay.
Governments get together, they work out a deal because something wasn't liked, and they say to the other government, clean up this shit. And then the government is the people's own government is the one responsible for the shit that they do. Okay? Always remember that. There's more to the story. Whether we're going to get it all, I don't know. But that's how it works. So has Nancy Pelosi, for anything that she did in January 6th ever happened? Shifty Shift is no different.
Right.
I mean, think about them all. Think about any one of them.
There's
nothing
people
has happened to anybody except the people who were actually victimized.
Right.
But Trump used those narratives to build a platform to get into this office, and every time something happened to him, he got stronger, he grew stronger.
Yeah.
Now Charlie will too, even though he won't be with us. But you know what? It's like this.
He's with us. He's just looking down and
City Hall, and you're not going to beat Washington.
No, you're not. You're not. The Marines, the National Guard, they're all coming. ICE, they're all coming to your city, and they're going to clean it up, or at least clean it the way they want it. I haven't figured that out, but I mean, they're going to clean these cities up, and people are crazy. You listen to J.B. Pritzker, who says, we don't need your help to come to Chicago and clean it up. We dropped it from 80% crime to 70% crime, and everything is just fine. And I'm banging my head on my desk every morning when I hear him say that, going, okay, you went from 80% crime to 70% crime. You still have a hell of a lot of crime.
Yeah.
Well, as it is, President Trump is now still working cleaning up Washington.
Yep.
He's trying to restore the business venues, the restaurants, but people don't have the money for these things he's restoring. Not really.
Well,
I mean, he's looking for. No, this is where one looks for a different demographic of people. You and I probably wouldn't go out for a $110 steak dinner.
No.
We'd go to the store and pay $15 for the steak and go home and cook it.
You'll go.
That's common sense.
You'll go out and have that $110 steak dinner if it's like you said earlier, if you believe when you read on Facebook or MeWe or all these other social media networks that, any day now, $50,000 is going to end up in your bank account. Most people, or worse, you see posts that say $40 million is going to end up in your account. Like I said, I'm 63 years old. I can't stomach what I could do with $40 million. I mean, I can't think about what I would do with $40 million because I won't be here to spend it all.
Well, the economy still sucks. It's bad.
Yeah.
Even traveling this weekend I just want to bring this up for a quick second.
No, go ahead.
And so I had to do some traveling this week.
Okay.
And not all for good, not all for bad. But I went to a couple different areas. One, gasoline. They say, well, it normally goes up on the holidays. Okay, yeah, they're going to, give it to us good again as they normally do on the holidays. I get it. But it hasn't stopped rising. As early as I would say just this past weekend, I saw what was a normalized price of about $3.29 if you had a gas station, one of their cards, customer cards.
Yeah.
When you get a rewards card, that's what it is. Okay. But I was off the turnpike and we looked at the gas prices. We were just driving by, and it became a part of the conversation. It was $3.76. So, I mean, we're nearing $4, you might as well say, per gallon. And the blue states don't care how many millions of gallons Drill Baby Drill is doing. They want to see us fail in the blue states because that puts us into the recession. It's a drivability contest is what it is. And in one way it's good, in one way it's bad. But if you keep the economics of the oil up, the whole economy falls apart. And so that's another thing that's going on in the blue states. But I guarantee you, Trump has been here in Pittsburgh, right here with Shapiro, promised him $90 billion for AI technology. They have talked. This is a plan. Certain things are going to happen in certain stages and movements. And right now, they're not doing anything to help the people of Pennsylvania for one of the factors. But there's many other factors like that are involved. When you can go 5 states away and gas is $2.69, there's something clearly.
I got to jump off, guys. Michael,
thanks,
it was
Randy.
great.
I'm
glad
you came. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning if you want to join me. 10 a.m.
Let's see if I wake up.
Wait a minute. Yeah, all right, let's see if I wake up.
Michael, great hearing your voice again, Michael. Thanks for the invite. See you guys. Take care.
All right, Randy. There's these 2 stations here in town, probably owned by the same upper 3s to like 285 for a couple of hours each day, and then they raise them up again higher than they were before. And I don't understand. I don't understand what the game is. I mean, you're not getting us ready for a higher price if that's what it's going to be. And
well, Reagan, back in the day, Reagan put price freezes on everybody. You could only be 2 cents apart from your competitor, up or down the street, wherever they were.
Yeah.
Okay. So you couldn't do things like that. Right now, we're playing Monopoly with the people's money. Right. And we have a president that, if he's so well informed, and I believe that he is, he would know that Reagan had to do this, and he needs to do this. But he also needs to put permanent freezes on gouging also.
Yeah.
And all these other things that are happening because they are hurting the United States of America. Yeah. That was his biggest background vote. That was the people that went to bat for him. And they're very disappointed. There's a lot of people disappointed in the outcome of what we're dealing with in the economy because people can't afford it. Dave, come on, look, you're on disability. You know what I'm talking about. Jerry is. Jerry talks about it. I'm talking about it. I'm not on disability, but I am disabled, and I continue to do what I do. But the point is this. Every one of us is getting hurt from it. The same as when they restrict us to what we're allowed to have and all our worldly possessions can only be this much before the government will ever help you. Even though now, especially, we have trillions and trillions coming into tariffs, but we're not going to help you with
Don't
them.
get me started. Don't
BS.
don't get me started because I'm convinced in some way that a tower nearby sent out a tone, and I dumped coffee all over my 6-month-old Windows 11 Pro because I heard something and I did it and I fried it. And I'm the first one to tell you they ain't coming to buy me a new one. Okay, I've been waiting too long. They're not coming to buy me a new one, and the lone survivor that I have is so old that no, they're not going to come. They're not going to come and replace it.
Well, maybe you'll get a free government phone.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Anything free is not free. There's always some game to it somewhere. You may get it free now, but in 2028 you have to pay double what it's worth. Or I looked at one online the other day that was beautiful, but they wanted like $700 for it. Well, you only pay like $8. I think it's set up. You only pay $8 a week until you pay it off, but you pay 3 times what it costs to buy it. I was looking at it going, this is at best a $250 machine that's going to work its way down.
Yeah, and you'll be paying for
and
it.
You'll be paying
5 years after it fails. I get what you're saying. Yeah. We had a place up in Pittsburgh called You Can Rent. It was a furniture and a TV, and I think they even did computers at the time. Mm-hmm. But they were gouging people, 3-4 times the amount.
I don't know how Rent-A-Center made them. Yeah, Rent-A-Center is a big chain that does it. I don't know how they do it.
Well, they simply go into business. They make set terms, and people come in, sign contracts.
Yeah.
It's perfectly legal, even though it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's sad. All right, look, Dave, it's 9 o'clock. You said you had to roll at 9. I planned on that till then.
All right. Hey, Michael.
I'm glad I could do it with you.
I was glad you were here.
I had a lot of fun, even though it disgusts me to have to talk about stuff like that.
I know, but it was stuff you wanted to talk about.
Oh, there's so much I haven't said.
Well, then maybe we'll have to have you back another time.
All right, plan something, get it up on post, and give me a week and get some people in and start a vibe.
All right. Yeah, there's other people. Yeah. All right, Michael, thank you. There's always more people that want to come in and do it. And if everybody knows it in advance, everybody will do it. Anyway, I'm Dave Golden. You're not. I want to thank you for watching. We're live on Facebook on my profile, the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. And we did finally make it over to Street Lock after we had started. You have to forgive me for getting up at the moment, at the beginning, and going to talk to our family dog Joe to tell her that this was not a good time to come in and be live. So I apologize for that, but it just proves that we're human and we enjoy doing what we do. Anyway, tomorrow is Wednesday. Look around. We may be live, Randy and I, at 10 o'clock Eastern for probably an hour. And Thursday we haven't decided yet, and Friday we haven't decided yet, and don't know about Saturday yet. So it may be a rare Saturday in the works too. Anyway, go make it a great night. Enjoy it. Spend some time with your family. The time that's left. I am going to bed. And let's see. We'll come down to this one and hit this one. Double V's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. Make sure all your computer gear is charged before you come here, because this one decided to die on me. But I had another one that was ready to go. Anyway,